Just for, just for, now what happened to my screen? Every time I touch something, it goes, ah, there we go. We'll start off with a little bit of our services of moving into towards meditation. And I do want to, for accuracy, let you all know that my time with Thay Kozen and his knee was 8 weeks. It wasn't 3.
I
And
had
it,
half of it right.
and it felt all of those 8 weeks. Absolutely. And it was a joy and love to be able to do it. For those of us that are reverends or for venerables, let's do the robing. How great the robe of liberation, a formless field of merit, wrapping ourselves in Buddha's teachings, we free all living beings. And then let us do our incense chant. I already lit the incense here. I hope the wafting of the incense covers all of your hopes and desires. Precepts incense, liberation of views incense, clouds of lighted incense pouring into the Dharma realms, offering to the highest teachers in the 10 directions. I humbly offer to the, oh, I forgot it. I'm
Now
sorry.
to the incense bodhisattvas.
I bow to the incense of Bodhisattva, the cloud of the incense Bodhisattva. Yay, fatigued mind, thank you, thank you. And this morning, before I do my Dharma talk, I would like to do a metta practice. But I'd like to offer the metta practice as I learned it probably 9 or 10 years ago at Mount Adams, and that was musically. It has a little sound to it, a little chant to it that I absolutely love. It wasn't written by me. Who was it written by, Thay Kozen?
It was actually compiled of 3 different metta chants put together. So it was just one of those spontaneous occurrences, my friend.
And who sung it? It was the woman that was living there.
Abby taught part of it, but so did a man named Michael in Arizona and one other person.
And so to do it this morning, I'm going to just simply intone it. And I hope you get a chance in the 3 or 4 times that I run through it, an opportunity to hear the sound of the chant in your own mind. And it maybe every once in a while to think about intoning it for yourself. We have this beautiful practice where we say it. And I'm going to encourage you to just simply do the hand gestures that we all know how to do in our metta practice as I go through each phase of this metta practice. I have a little bit of a raspy voice. I understand that was also from one of the joys of having surgery and having a tube put down your throat for breathing. So I'm a little raspy, so please forgive that. So listen through it for the first time. You're on mute. Don't be afraid to just sing out loud for yourself as we go through it for the few times. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful, oh so peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Namatasa Bhagavato Rahato Samasambuddhasa. Thank you all. I hope the melody catches in your ear a little bit, and I encourage you to hum it, or as you're doing walking meditation to allow that to go with you. It might just be me because music has always been a big part of my life, but adding sound and music to what I do in this practice is added great dimensions to the deepness of the meditations and the mantras that we do. We once attended a retreat with Anjao Roshi, and we were trying to determine when Western Buddhism would become a real thing. And his belief was it would become a real thing when we have our own music. And so, as lovely as the chants from our other brothers and sisters in the Chinese tradition or in the Vietnamese tradition as they are, the few that I know of, and most of them are from Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition, are beautiful, and they add a deepness and a richness to them. So from time to time, I'll drop a little music on you, and hopefully when the voice gets a little bit better, it won't sound so horrendous. So let me do a little bit of a Dharma talk. Those of you that have been around a while and have known me with regards to Dharma talks know that no matter how hard I work at trying to avoid the tension and the angst that I feel about preparing a Dharma talk, don't ask me why, I've been doing them for Lord knows how many years. What I discover is as I know I have to do a Dharma talk, I begin to do research. What am I going to talk about? What are some salient points that I can share that are meaningful to the vast majority of the people that are listening? Yada, yada, yada. And I go through this every time. I know I'm going to go through it every time, even though I commit to not going through it every time. I do. And like all the other times, it happened again this time. And this time again, as fate happens, this morning, as I was doing something on the computer, on Facebook, I think, something popped up that I went, oh, that's so much better than what I had prepared. So I'm going to talk about that. And that's just the way life it goes sometimes. I'll save the Dharma talk for either the times I go to the prison or for the people that I have here at my temple on Thursdays. But today I wanted to share with you and to start off with a joke. In learning public speaking and being a public speaker for a long time, they've always said if you start off with a joke, you help your audience ease into the topic that you want to talk about. So here is the joke. There was a young monk that went into monastery, and it was a very strict monastery. That was a Zen monastery that he went into. And he went in and he wanted to be a very, very good monk. He wanted to follow all the rules and to be an exemplary monk. And so one of the rules was, this was a monastery that required silence. And they were only allowed to speak 2 words every 10 years. And so he went into the monastery. He met the Grand Master, And he went through the whole 10 years. And at the end of the first 10 years, the Grand Master said to the young monk, "It's time for your 2 words. What would you like to say?" And the young monk said, "Bed hard." And that was his 2 words for 10 years. So the next 10 years rolled through, and he again met with the Grand Master. And the Grand Master said, "Okay, you've gone through another 10 years. It's time for your 2 words. What 2 words would you like to use?" And the young monk said, "Food stinks." So another 10 years go by, and the Grand Master finally says to the young monk, and he's no longer a young monk now, he's been there 30 years. And the Grand Master says, "Okay, another 10 years. What are the 2 words you would like to say this time for this 10 years?" And the monk quietly looked at the Grand Master and said, "I quit." And the Grand Master looked at him and said, "You know, I'm not surprised you do nothing but complain." How true is that for all of us, my friends? How true is that for all of us? That much of what we do in life revolves around how things react with us. You know, I was here a couple of weeks ago in this sangha, excuse me, and one of the go-arounds was about someone who had experienced being told about a devastating disease that they had been diagnosed with, and that they said that it might be terminal. And you know, I spent 2 weeks thinking about that word, terminal. And all of a sudden I realized we get so hooked on what we believe the meaning of a word or a phrase is, that it automatically moves us in a particular direction. The reality of this, my brothers and sisters in the Sangha, is we're all terminal. We've been terminal since the day of our birth. It just so happens that this word in a medical way was used. And depending on how we receive this information can very well depend on how we deal with the situation that we have. You know, the young monk in that monastery, I don't think he was, again, judgment on my part, I don't think he was very wise in the choice of words that he chose to give back every 10 years. You know, he was obviously suffering each one of those 10 years to a point where all that he could express was bed hard, food stinks, I quit. When so much other things that could work in his mind, especially in the silence of this community, could bring him to a point of realizations far beyond that the bed was hard and that the food stunk. And the Grand Master, you know, we have great reverence for Grand Masters. You know, every time I hear the word venerable, I sort of get the icks a little bit about, okay, well, I guess that's okay. I have to accept that as well. But we venerables and Grand Masters and people who work at following this Dharma, following this path of life, these ways of living, we also make mistakes. We also get confused and get stuck in our thinking. And like the Grand Master who could only evaluate that young monk at the end by that he just complained too much, you know, the 6 words in 30 years. And that was what the Grand Master could come out with. Now, I know we had to do that for the humorous part, but the truth of the matter is, how often do we get stuck in our own stories, in our own understanding of what words or situations are actually presenting to us? Thich Nhat Hanh has brought to this country this practice of mindfulness, this awareness of how we feel and what's going on with us at every particular moment that we can latch on to in our daily life. And I know I get stuck in this as well. You know, I only remember what my doctor told me about this surgery on my knee, and all I remembered was, oh, you'll be fine, you'll get up, you'll walk, you won't need a cane. All of that kind of stuff is all I remembered of what he told me. And there were great surprises that came after the surgery about much more was involved than what I wanted to remember. I wanted to get up, I wanted to walk. You know, if you ever had this knee thing, let me tell you in advance, get a raised toilet seat, because getting up and down off the throne is really difficult. It hurts. So we also get stuck in this, in our words, and we get stuck in our thoughts and in our stories. And sometimes they wall us off to the greater teachings of the Dharma that are there and available for us. But in mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh says, look at your illnesses, look at your dissatisfactions, look at the things that you are so psyched up about. Look at all of it, but look at it with regards to the reality of what it is. None of it is important. It is all impermanent. It all will change at any particular point in time, and it will serve you well if you can breathe deeply and touch it deeply. And rather than getting stuck into your own feelings and your own words, or words that come at you from the outside, let that go and open yourself up to deeper breathing. And so now as I get frustrated with, today I changed the linens on my bed, and I was so proud of what normally would be about a 15-minute procedure turned into an hour and a half, because I just kind of had to limp around doing it slowly. And I sort of mindfully looked at that and said, thank you. Great gratitude that I can now do that. I have great gratitude with regards to all the well-wishing that was sent from my friends in the Sangha and friends around the world. I have great gratitude for this Dharma teaching that teaches me to get outside of myself, to open myself up to a broader way of looking at things and a broader way of thinking. If the world could only do this, we wouldn't be stuck like we seem to be stuck now. We wouldn't be so stuck with regards to people who are working with regards to their feelings of being trans, or feelings of being gender identified, all of those things. We wouldn't be so stuck on our own political awareness. We would be able to open it up, breathe into it deeply, and see it for a more broader vision of what it really is. And so, brothers and sisters of the Sangha, this morning I offer to you this opportunity to be mindful. And to be mindful is supported by our meditational practices. To allow ourselves to be quiet. It's possible to be mindful while you're doing the dishes, or while you're sweeping the floor, or while you're weed whacking and saving newts from great destruction, or whatever happening in your life. You can be mindful then too. And that's all beautiful in and of itself. But it is so important to find moments of quiet. And this meditation practice that was given to us by Shakyamuni Buddha 2,600 plus some years ago gives us this opportunity to begin to find this broader element of life, of which we are only a small connected part of. So those are my words for this morning. May we all be well. May we all be happy. May we all know love. May we all know peace.